What's cooking today? Paul Stern, Jack Roberts, and Jack, for many, I think, yours truly included, this is a moment we've been waiting for.
You're exactly right, Paul. Phil Lempert is known as a supermarket guru, and 100,000 American votes are in. Supermarket guru Phil Lempert is now about to unveil the most innovative products to hit shelves this year, the products of the year. Hello, Phil. How are you doing?
Good, Jack. Good, Paul. And I wish we were just sitting in a supermarket together so we could go up and down the aisles and I could point out the little Product of the Year stamp and get you guys all excited.
That is so fabulous, because even prior to your arrival on the program, Phil, we were talking a little supermarket talk about some of the blackberries that were on sale, and I noticed that some of them are grown here in the United States and others are grown in Mexico, and frankly, they kind of look the same, but are there any differences to take into consideration?
Absolutely. In country of origin labeling, whether you're talking about produce items, whether you're talking about chocolate, or seafood, especially with what's going on in the Gulf, is so important. So always read those labels. It doesn't mean that it's bad, but also when it comes to seafood, check out Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. For example, there's a new product out that's terrific, that steams, it's a frozen product that steamed tilapia, that has all the spices in it, everything else. But you go to Seafood Watch, and it says to avoid tilapia that's from China, because of the toxic waters that it's in. So we as consumers need to be smarter than ever before, and where we can, and I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism on this, but where we can, when it comes to our foods, Product of USA is still the best.
Always, you're taking into account, I would imagine, stricter standards?
Absolutely. When it comes to food safety, we've got the toughest food safety standards ever. They're not perfect, no question about it. But at least we know what they are. And in other countries, China in particular, you might see something that says organic on it, but that doesn't mean that it's USDA certified organic, and their rules can be different.
I notice I'm a big fan of the mandarin oranges that are very popular, I think, in many of the restaurants, and I like to get them. They come in cans, and some of the mandarin oranges are, again, it says product of China, and other ones are product of the United States.
Well, time to choose, and Product of the USA is the one that I would get. Even though it might be a little bit more expensive, you know, I think that you're just talking about a product that has been inspected better, that we know what the atmosphere, what the water's being used is like.
In your experience as the supermarket guru, have you felt that the public is willing to pay more of a price for a product they have maybe some higher assurances have met those standards?
Absolutely. You know, I would give you a different answer 10 years ago. But when we look at all the problems with melamine being added to meat or pet food, or, you know, even if you look right now at Kobe beef, the hoof and mouth disease that's taking place in Japan, the price of Kobe beef is going through the roof. Pay a little bit more and be safe.
Anderson Cooper on CNN, I think he did a piece on the beef industry, and it wasn't particularly becoming.
No, it's not. But again, you know, what we've done typically in this country is we want our price of foods to be lower, 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 so we're driving cost out of the system. Well, something has to give. And when you're slaughtering 400 head of cattle an hour, you know, when it comes to food safety issues and inspections, they might not be nearly as good if you were slaughtering 100 head an hour. So I agree. I saw the report. I agree with it. But again, you know, we've got to understand what we're doing. In fact, Angus beef is going, you know, through the roof because of what these cows are being fed, how they're being handled, and so on. And, you know, we just can't have everything for nothing. And also, we need help. And why the Product of the Year stamp is just so important is this has been voted on by 60,000 shoppers, just like you and me, not a magazine editor, not someone else. It's the largest survey on product innovation. It's been around for 24 years. It's in 28 countries. This is really, you know, a trusted guide that could save time and money for shoppers.
How do people get the full details on Product of the Year at this listing?
ProductofTheYearUSA.com lists all the products as well as the criteria. You can even see TV commercials from other parts of the world. But if you look at responding, you know, food products, Sprite from Coca-Cola soda companies have been taking out high fructose corn syrup for the past year or so.
Oh.
Sprite did that. It's made with real sugar, but also it is blended with stevia. You know, the all-natural stevia plant from the Amazon. That's a zero-calorie sweetener, so you've got only 50 calories, great-tasting product, all natural. That's what we're starting to see these companies do.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't know, you know, the nuts and bolts of the high fructose corn syrup issue, but it is obviously common business sense to get rid of it and use natural sugar whenever possible.
Well, you know, to be honest with you, it's not common business sense because high fructose corn syrup is half the price of sugar. So, you know, these companies are now spending a lot more, but it's common business sense because you have lots of consumers throwing up their hands and saying, we don't want high fructose corn syrup. Hunt's Ketchup, you know, took out high fructose corn syrup versus Heinz, which still has it in it. So these companies are listening to us, and that's where they're so smart. And that's why Product of the Year and these awards and products like this really need to be supported by consumers because these are the companies who are paying attention, and we need to reward them by buying the product.
So, actually, Phil, it's actually for the companies, it's customer friendly. Obviously, it works on the customer's standpoint, but at the same time, it may cost the company more, but it's good customer relations to do that. Is that right?
Oh, of course. You know, the old story is you can get anybody to buy anything once.
Yep.
It's really the second and the third time. And yeah, if you're not sustainable, if you're not paying attention to what's going on in the environment or country of origin or all these things, you're going to lose consumers. So yes, you've got to invest maybe a little bit more as a company that you would want, but you're going to own that consumer for their lifetime. You're going to make it back 100-fold. And consumers today, especially because of programs like What's Cooking, being able to access information on the internet, people are smarter than ever before. You can't just come out with something and keep your fingers crossed that somebody's going to buy it and be fooled.
The website is productoftheyearusa.com. Phil Lempert, Supermarket Guru. Your website, supermarketguru.com.
Exactly, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Phil. Good luck to you.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
I'm Paul Stern. That is Jack Roberts. Michael Horn on assignment. It is What's Cooking Today on this cable system, on this radio station, and around the world on the internet at crntalk.com.